Self-education is also very important, and kind of grinding what you know against the expert theory about a problem, and also taking into account marginal theories and trying to reconcile things as far as you can. That's the way you can educate yourself. If you have enough wind in your sail and maybe tolerance for difficult situations, you can try addressing things by becoming an activist or really becoming active in your local government. But you shouldn't do things that distress you too much, because the ultimate value of living is the enjoyment that you get from it, and the enjoyment that you get from it, authentic joy, comes from living an ethical life, working the immediate fabric that's in hand. And if your immediate fabric seems to extend to an activist realm, well, so much the greater for you. Opportunities in life will present themselves to you. That's my experience at any rate. And you can be calm about these opportunities and not let them destroy your peace. I really like running. I like running every morning. It gives me a high, and I have like a whole theory about it, how going through a landscape is actually a journey through a mental landscape, and that's why the parable of the journey is so important in fiction, fairy tales, real life. Real life always has, or literature always has the journey. The journey is very important, and the journey can just be made in your neighborhood if you want. But running, I think, actually is a form of apparently priming my own pump and raising myself to a higher energy level. And I think that it actually changes the universe when I run. I'm like this goo running through this other goo, which is actually myself, because we're not really separate. We're just clumps of sentience. And actually, from what I read, everything extends to everything else. So, in essence, we are one big self. And if we can realize this every moment and see everything as a representation of oneself, it can be a much more interesting reality. I think that mindset has a lot to do with possibilities that open themselves. And this is probably why mania is so interesting. You're changing your mindset via mental illness. But people also do that with LSD, and they do that by meditation. So I'm hoping that with the right mindset I can hold on to what I want to keep, because it really is a magical reality. And it's interesting how when I go out of a mania, it kind of collapses down to a lower energy state where and I've recently read that actually the future can change the past. So the things that I'm experiencing in my mania, and sometimes I actually document, but I don't have the energy to go back and like pull through the documentation when I'm out of my manic state. But the things that I document seem to correspond, and actually people will talk to me and say, I'll say, well, will it always be like this when I'm in a manic state? And it's as though we're actually sharing thoughts, and I think we are. And they say, well, it can be very hard, or maybe not, or sometimes it's like this. And it really does affirm my belief that we are all one. So, interesting stuff. And I like running through this goo, and it's actually not even goo, it's information. I'm just information kind of exploring other information. I think the key to insight about what's possible is keeping up on speculative articles about the implications of quantum physics and thinking about extensions of those. The most interesting thing to me right now is the theoretical multiverses that open up whenever a new junction for a decision is made. Although I like to visualize it as like everything in my field of vision being a locus for the single universe, and that everything outside my field of vision is just a cloud of possibilities. That seems to be the most useful way for me to make use of this, and to also kind of throw in a little bit of free will in there, because I desire for the best reality for myself and everyone I care about, which is everyone. One of the things that I kind of reject from Buddhist philosophy in theory, but as far as like a comfort level, it does comfort me, and that is like the theory of letting go of attachment. And I'm thinking that I can just focus on the things that are important to me, and I can appoint ambassadors of responsibility in my reality, people who will give me the important information that I need in order to make the right crucial choices that I need to make at a juncture. So I'm really thinking a lot about this, like delegation of thought responsibility, and I have some ideas about it. I think if you go about the city with a lamp looking for honesty, it depends a lot on your mindset and understanding of humanity. I think that most people are good and ethical insofar that they've been taught to be good and ethical, and maybe have an incomplete understanding of what good and ethical is. So you should keep that in mind when examining others' actions and statements.